The day the aliens came changed everything. Massive ships appeared in Earth's sky one Tuesday morning. They hung there, silent and still, for 3 days. People panicked at first. Some ran. Some prayed. Some partied like it was the end of the world. Commander Jack Miller watched it all from the control room at NASA. He had been chosen to lead the human team that would meet the aliens. Jack was calm, but his heart beat fast. 20 years in the Navy had prepared him for many things, but not this. "Commander, they're sending another message," said a young technician. "They want to meet tomorrow." Jack nodded. "Tell them we accept." The meeting place was a field outside of Geneva. The alien ship landed softly, barely disturbing the grass beneath it. Jack stood with 5 other humans chosen for their skills in science, language, medicine, and diplomacy. Dr. Lisa Walsh, the medical expert, stood to his right, her clipboard clutched tightly against her chest. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. 3 beings walked out. They looked almost like tall, thin humans, but their skin shimmered with a faint blue glow. Their eyes were large, with pupils that changed shape as they looked around. "Greetings," said the tallest one in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Zex Tora of the Vexari. We represent the Galactic Confederation, a union of 7 species who travel the stars." Jack stepped forward. "I'm Commander Jack Miller of Earth. We welcome you to our planet." Zex Tora's eyes shifted to a diamond shape. "How quaint. Your species shows promise, despite your primitive technology." Jack felt his jaw tighten, but kept his smile. "We're eager to learn." "Indeed. The Confederation offers Earth conditional membership as a protectorate species. You would be under our guidance and protection while you mature." Over the next week, the aliens set up a temporary base. They'd brought technology that amazed even Earth's best scientists. They cured diseases, showed ways to clean pollution, and promised to help humans join the galactic community. But something didn't feel right to Jack. He noticed how the aliens watched humans with a mix of amusement and pity, like adults watching children play with toys. "They think we're pets," he told Lisa one evening as they reviewed the day's meetings. Lisa nodded. "They asked to examine some volunteers today. I went first, to show it was safe." She lowered her voice. "Jack, they were confused by some of our basic biology. The way our muscles work, how fast our brains process information. They kept running the same tests over and over." "What does that mean?" "I'm not sure, but they tried to hide their surprise. When I asked questions, they changed the subject." The U.S. Horizon, Earth's newest aircraft carrier, was chosen as the meeting place for the formal treaty signing. The ship had been quickly modified to accommodate the aliens' needs. Ambassador Zex Tora arrived with representatives from the other 6 species. Each looked wildly different from humans, and from each other. One floated in a liquid-filled suit. Another moved on 6 legs like an insect. A third seemed made of living crystal. "Your ship is adequate," said Zex Tora, looking around the massive carrier with what seemed like mild amusement, though quite inefficient in design. Jack noticed how the aliens' eyes kept darting to the sailors working on deck. The humans moved quickly in the hot sun, carrying heavy equipment without complaint. During the formal dinner that night, Jack overheard 2 aliens speaking in what they thought was a private frequency. His translator picked it up anyway. "Their endurance makes no sense for a species at this technology level," one said. "And their adaptability is concerning," replied the other. "They mastered our basic translation technology in days. The Council will want a full assessment before finalizing the protectorate status." Jack caught Lisa's eye across the room. She gave a slight nod. She had heard it too. Something was happening here. The aliens weren't telling them everything. Earth was being tested, and no one knew why. 6 months passed since first contact. Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Alien technology filled the cities. Strange new foods appeared in stores. Hundreds of humans left Earth to work on alien ships and stations as observers. Steve Donovan was one of them. a chief engineer with 15 years of experience fixing machines that no one else could fix. Steve now worked on the Confederation flagship under Kralvox, a Taurian engineer. Taurian were tall, four-armed aliens with tough gray skin and three eyes that never seemed to blink. Kralvox treated Steve like a child playing with tools. Steve didn't mind. He watched. He learned. He kept quiet. "Human, bring the flux regulator," Kralvox said one day as they worked on the ship's engines. The alien never used Steve's name. Steve brought the tool and stood back. The Confederation ships used energy in ways humans had only dreamed of. Their engines bent space itself. "When will I get to work on the main drive?" Steve asked. Kralvox made a sound like rocks in a blender, which Steve had learned was laughter. "Perhaps in a few years, when your kind better understands our science." Steve nodded and said nothing. He already understood more than Kralvox knew. The alarm sounded 3 days later. Red lights flashed throughout the ship. Steve ran to the engine room where Kralvox and other aliens worked in panic. "What's happening?" Steve asked. "The quantum fold is collapsing," Kralvox said, not looking up from the control panel. "We lose primary power in 10 minutes. Steve knew what that meant. No power meant no life support. No life support meant everyone would die. "We're trying to reach the magistrate on Velnar," another alien said. "The peace talks will fail if we don't arrive on time." The ship shuddered. Lights flickered. Steve looked at the engine diagrams on the wall. He had studied them every night while the aliens thought he was sleeping. "I might know a way to fix it," Steve said. No one listened. "I said I can fix it," Steve shouted. Kralvox turned all three eyes toward him. "This is Confederation technology, human. You couldn't possibly. Your primary coils are overloading because the dampeners are set to standard parameters," Steve said quickly. "But this ship is running hot because of the rush to reach Velnar. You need to bypass the safety protocols and rewire the secondary array directly to the main bus." The room went silent. Kralvox's middle eye widened. "That would destroy the system," he said finally. "Not if you reverse the polarity on the odd-numbered nodes and create a feedback loop through the auxiliary system. That's not in any manual. It's basic engineering," Steve said, though he knew it wasn't. Not to them. The ship shuddered again. Time was running out. "Let me try," Steve said. Kralvox hesitated, then stepped aside. Steve moved fast. His hands seemed to know what to do without thinking. He pulled wires, rerouted energy, bypassed systems that the aliens considered essential. The other engineers watched in silence. "This will never work," one whispered. Steve connected the final wire. The lights stopped flickering. The engine hum changed tone, becoming deeper, stronger. "Power levels stabilizing," said a voice over the ship's system. Quantum fold restored. Kralvox stared at the control panel, then at Steve. All three eyes were wide now. "How did you know this would work?" he asked. Steve shrugged. "Just seemed logical." But it wasn't logic. It was intuition and creativity, things the aliens seemed to lack. That night, Steve overheard Kralvox speaking to the ship's captain. "The human did something impossible," Kralvox said. "He solved a problem that our best engineers would need weeks to analyze." "Perhaps it was luck," the captain replied. "No, he knew exactly what he was doing. And Captain, this isn't the first report I've received about humans doing the unexpected." Steve walked away quietly. Back in his small room, he wrote a message to Commander Miller on Earth. "They're starting to notice. What should we do?" The reply came the next morning. "Nothing. Let them wonder." Throughout the Confederation, other humans were causing the same confusion. A human doctor healing patients with simple tools. A human pilot performing maneuvers that should have been impossible. A human scientist asking questions that made aliens uncomfortable. Slowly, the Confederation began to wonder, what else were these humans capable of? Marine Sergeant Kate Rodriguez didn't like being called a trainee. She had fought in 3 wars on Earth. She had medals. She had scars. But here, on the Confederation Research Station Vega 7, she and her squad were just human security trainees. The station orbited a gas giant at the edge of Confederation space. Scientists studied strange energy readings from the planet below. Kate's squad was there to learn from the alien security forces, mostly large, 6-limbed creatures called Dorn who look down on humans. Your kind lacks proper defensive capability, Chief Security Officer Molthak told Kate during their first meeting. No natural armor, no claws, poor night vision. It's remarkable you survived to develop space travel. Kate just smiled. We manage. Her squad included 4 other Marines, Lee, Abby, Rick, and Paul. They kept their heads down and followed orders. They carried the light weapons they were given, though these felt like toys compared to what they used on Earth. They trained with the Dorn, holding back their true speed and strength. Commander Miller's orders were clear. Learn everything. Show only what you must. Kate was in the mess hall when the alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. A voice spoke over the station speakers in 6 different languages. Alert. Station breach in Section 12. Unknown hostile forces. All non-security personnel evacuate to safe zones. Kate ran to the weapons locker where her squad was already gathering. The Dorn security team rushed past, ignoring the humans. What's happening? Kate asked a passing scientist, a small, feathered alien named Dr. Prill. Krell attack. Dr. Prill's feathers stood straight up in fear. They come from beyond Confederation space. They take what they want and destroy the rest. The station shook. Lights flickered. The sound of weapons fire echoed from distant corridors. Where are the other scientists? Kate asked. Still in the main lab. Our research. We couldn't believe it. Kate looked at her squad. They nodded. No words needed. Show us the way, she told Dr. Prill. They ran through the station, passing panicked aliens heading the opposite way. The Dorn security forces were falling back, overwhelmed by the attackers. When they reached the lab, Kate saw the Krell for the first time. They were massive reptilian creatures with armored skin and 4 arms, each holding a different weapon. A dozen scientists cowered behind equipment as 5 Krell advanced. The Dorn are retreating, Lee whispered. They're leaving the scientists behind. Kate felt a familiar calm settle over her. Time seemed to slow. We can't fight them with these toys, she said, looking at their Confederation-issued weapons. Paul grinned. Then we improvise. In the next 30 seconds, the Marines grabbed items from around the lab. Abby found chemicals that would burn hot when mixed. Rick spotted pressure tanks that could explode. Lee discovered a device that generated a force field. Kate nodded and gave simple hand signals. Her squad moved like a single organism. The first Krell never saw Rick coming. The second turned just in time to meet Abby's makeshift flamethrower. The third fell to Lee's trap. The 4th and 5th faced Kate and Paul directly. The fight lasted less than 2 minutes. When it ended, all 5 Krell lay unconscious or dead. The human squad stood unharmed, breathing hard but ready for more. The scientists stared in shock. Dr. Prill's recording device had captured everything. How? He asked, his voice shaking. The Dorn couldn't stop them with proper weapons. You used lab equipment. Kate shrugged. Marines are trained to use what's available. 3 hours later, Confederation reinforcements arrived to find the remaining Krell had been driven back. The human squad had defended the main lab and 2 evacuation points without losing a single scientist. The station's security feeds showed everything. Soon, the footage spread throughout the Confederation network. Aliens watched in disbelief as 5 humans defeated enemies that had sent trained Dorn warriors running. The question began to spread from ship to ship, planet to planet. What were these humans really capable of? On Earth, Commander Miller watched the footage with mixed feelings. The humans had saved lives, but they had also revealed too much. The Confederation was paying attention now. The game was changing. The High Council of the Galactic Confederation met in secret. 7 representatives, one from each member species, sat around a circular table. The room was silent except for the soft hum of air filters. "The human situation requires our immediate attention," said Zextora, the Vexari representative. "Recent events suggest they are not what they first appeared to be." On a large screen, videos played in sequence. Steve Donovan fixing the impossible engine problem, Kate Rodriguez and her squad defeating the Krell, and dozens of other incidents where humans had shown unexpected abilities. "We need more data," said the Taurian representative. "I propose a detailed investigation. We should test their limits." The council agreed. Within days, the plan was set in motion. Alex Summers worked as a researcher at a Confederation science facility. He studied alien biology and shared Earth's medical knowledge. Alex enjoyed the work, and the aliens seemed to value his input, though they often treated him like a bright child. One morning, a new alien arrived at the facility. She was Vexari, like Ambassador Zextora, but shorter and with eyes that seemed more focused. "I am Dr. Nivora," she said. "I will be observing your work for the next few weeks." Alex nodded politely, but something felt wrong. Dr. Nivora watched him constantly. She asked strange questions about human limits. "How long can humans go without sleep?" she asked one day. "About 3 days before serious problems begin," Alex answered, remembering Commander Miller's instructions to downplay human abilities. The truth was that Alex had once stayed awake for 5 days during a medical emergency on Earth. It wasn't healthy, but it was possible. 3 days later, Dr. Nivora invited Alex to participate in important research. He was led to a new section of the facility he had never seen before. "We are conducting comparative species testing," she explained. "Nothing dangerous, I assure you." The tests started simple: reaction time, memory puzzles, physical endurance. Alex was careful to perform just slightly better than the aliens expected, but not too much better. Then the tests got harder. They put Alex in a room with changing gravity. They tested how long he could hold his breath. They gave him complex problems with seemingly no solution. Alex grew tired. It had been a long day of tests, and Dr. Nivora showed no signs of stopping. "This is the final test today," she said, bringing a strange device to the table. "A cognitive challenge that all Confederation species have attempted." The device projected a 3-dimensional puzzle made of light. It was a mess of tangled pathways with multiple moving parts. "You must connect all points without crossing paths," Dr. Nivora explained. "No Confederation species has solved it in less than 3 hours." Alex stared at the puzzle. He was exhausted and hungry. For a moment, he forgot the act he was supposed to maintain. The puzzle wasn't so difficult. The solution required thinking in 4 dimensions, not 3. Alex saw the pattern almost immediately. His hands moved quickly through the light projection. He twisted, turned, and rearranged the paths. In less than 5 minutes, the puzzle was solved. The points connected, glowing green to show success. Too late. Alex remembered his instructions. He looked up to see Dr. Nivora staring at him, all 3 of her eye slits fully open in shock. "That's impossible," she whispered. Alex tried to recover. "I got lucky with the pattern." "No one gets lucky with a Tesseract logic puzzle." Her voice had changed. "No Confederation genius has ever solved it so quickly." That night, Dr. Nivora sent an urgent message to the High Council. The message contained videos of Alex's test performance and one simple conclusion: humans are deliberately hiding their true capabilities. They are far more advanced than they want us to know. The council reviewed the evidence and reached a troubling decision. Humans might be more than a curiosity. They might be a threat. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett worked in the Confederation's central data hub on their capital station. Her job was simple: translate human documents into the common alien language and help with communication. The aliens thought she was just a language expert, They didn't know she had been one of Earth's top computer security specialists before first contact. Olivia noticed strange things about the Confederation computer systems. They were advanced in some ways, but surprisingly simple in others. The aliens built perfect security walls, but left obvious back doors open. It was like they couldn't imagine someone thinking differently than they did. One night, when the station was quiet, Olivia stayed late in her office. She had been watching the system for weeks, learning its patterns. Tonight, she would try something. Her fingers moved quickly over the alien keyboard. She wasn't hacking exactly. She was using the system in ways the aliens never considered. Within 10 minutes, she had access to files no human was meant to see. What she found made her blood run cold. Project Human Containment, one file read. Others contained detailed plans for limiting human expansion, controlling Earth's technology, and even provisions for emergency measures if humans proved dangerous. But the most shocking file was titled Human Deception Analysis. It contained thousands of reports from across the Confederation about humans showing unexpected abilities, exactly the kinds of slips that Commander Miller had warned them to avoid. The report's conclusion was clear. Humans are intentionally hiding their true capabilities. They are more advanced and dangerous than previously assessed. Olivia downloaded everything she could find to a small device. She needed to get this information back to Earth immediately. As she prepared to leave, a message alert appeared on her screen. The Confederation was calling an emergency session about the human question. All human representatives on Confederation stations would be detained for questioning. Olivia had minutes, maybe seconds, before they came for her. She quickly composed a message to Admiral John Hayes, Earth's military leader. She attached the files and used a special encryption code that only Earth's top officials knew. Just as she hit send, her door slid open. 2 Dorn security officers stood there. "Lieutenant Bennett, you are required to remain in your quarters until further notice." Olivia nodded calmly. "Of course. May I ask why?" "Routine security protocols," one said, but his 4 eyes didn't meet hers. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes received Olivia's message. He read it twice, then called Commander Miller and the other human leaders to an emergency meeting. "The Confederation has discovered our strategy," Hayes said, showing them Olivia's files. "They know we've been holding back." "What do we do now?" someone asked. Hayes looked around the room. "We planned for this day. We knew it might come. The question is, do we continue the facade or show them what humanity is truly capable of?" Commander Miller spoke up. "Why did we hide our abilities in the first place? Because we've seen what happens when a more advanced civilization meets a less advanced one. We didn't want to scare them. We didn't want them to see us as a threat. But now they do anyway," Hayes said. "Then perhaps it's time for honesty," Miller replied. "We never wanted to deceive them. We just wanted to be accepted as equals, not feared as conquerors." Hayes nodded slowly. "I'll contact Ambassador Clark. He needs to know what's happening before the Confederation confronts him." As Hayes reached for the communication panel, another alert sounded. It was from Earth's long-range scanners. "Sir," said a young officer, her face pale, "we're detecting multiple ships entering our system. They're not Confederation vessels." Hayes and Miller exchanged looks. They both recognized the ship designs from the intelligence reports. "Krell," Hayes said quietly, "a full invasion fleet." The human leaders stood in silence, realizing that their careful plans had just been shattered. The time for hiding was over. Ambassador Daniel Clark stood alone before the Confederation High Council. The circular chamber was designed to make anyone in the center feel small. 7 raised platforms held the representatives of the 7 alien species that ruled the galaxy. Daniel had been called for an emergency hearing. He knew what this was about. Admiral Hayes had sent him Olivia's files just hours ago. "Ambassador Clark," said Zextora, the Vexari representative, "we have discovered disturbing information about your species." Images appeared in the air around Daniel. Humans doing things they shouldn't be able to do. Steve fixing the impossible engine problem, Kate and her Marines defeating the Krell, Alex solving the puzzle too quickly. Dozens of other incidents where humans had shown their true abilities. Your people have deceived us, a Taurian representative said. You have hidden your true capabilities. Daniel took a deep breath. We have been cautious. Cautious? The Dorn representative's voice boomed. You have lied to us. We never lied, Daniel said calmly. We simply didn't reveal everything at once. When we met you, we had no idea how you would react to our full capabilities. What are your full capabilities? Zex Tor asked. Leaning forward, Daniel looked around the room. The council was afraid. They had built their understanding of humans on false assumptions. Now they didn't know what to believe. Humanity has a troubled history, Daniel explained. We've fought wars over differences far smaller than those between our species. When we met you, we decided to approach with humility rather than strength. We wanted to learn from you, not frighten you. So you pretended to be weaker than you are, said a crystal-like being from the back of the room. We showed restraint, Daniel corrected, a concept that seems unfamiliar to the Confederation. He held up a small device. We know about your containment plans for Earth. While you were studying us, we were studying you too. The council chambers erupted in angry voices. The representatives shouted at each other and at Daniel. Security officers moved toward the center of the room. Suddenly, all the lights turned red. Alarms sounded throughout the station. A voice spoke in the Confederation common language. Alert! Multiple Krell warships detected in sectors 7 through 23. All defense forces activate. This is not a drill. The council room went silent. A large screen appeared, showing a map of Confederation space. Red dots represented Krell ships. There were hundreds of them, moving toward populated systems. This is impossible, whispered Zextora. Our border defenses should have detected them earlier. They found a way through your sensor network, Daniel said. Your defensive algorithms are too predictable. The Taurian representative stood. Our models show we cannot stop a force this size with current deployments. Multiple systems will fall before we can respond. The room filled with panic as the representatives argued about what to do. Daniel watched silently. Then his personal communicator buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Hayes. Krell fleet has bypassed Luna outpost. Earth in danger. All restrictions lifted. Daniel cleared his throat. The council ignored him. He picked up a metal object from a nearby table and struck it against the floor. The sharp sound cut through the noise. The Krell are attacking Earth too, he said when they all turned to him. This isn't just your problem. It's ours as well. What can you do? Asks Zextora. Your planet has minimal defenses. Daniel smiled slightly. That's what we wanted you to think. He turned to face the entire council. Earth offers its full military assistance against the Krell threat. No more holding back. No more restraint. What are you saying? Asked the Dorn representative. I'm saying that humanity is ready to show you what we're really capable of. Daniel's voice grew stronger. But we need to act now. Together. The council members looked at each other, then back at the screen showing the advancing Krell fleet. They had no choice. Very well, said Zextora. Show us. Captain Ryan Adams watched as his ship, the Defender, moved out of its hidden dock beneath the lunar surface. Behind it, 30 more ships emerged from concealment. For 3 years, Earth had been building this fleet in secret, using what they learned from the Confederation, but improving on the designs in ways the aliens never considered. All ships report ready, Captain, said his first officer. Ryan nodded. Open channel to the Confederation command. On the screen appeared the surprised face of the Vexeri fleet commander. What? What are these vessels? Where did they come from? Earth's defense fleet, Ryan said simply. We've been preparing for this day. Impossible, the alien commander whispered. Your planet doesn't have this technology. We do now. We're heading to coordinates C-117 to engage the main Krell force. We suggest your ships support our flanks. Before the alien could respond, Ryan closed the channel. He had no time to explain further. The Krell were attacking 3 major Confederation worlds simultaneously, and Earth was in their path. On the science deck, Officer Nicole Garcia made final adjustments to the Defender's special systems. The aliens didn't know that humans had been developing weapons and shields based on principles the Confederation had deemed theoretically impossible. Quantum shield grid at full power, Nicole reported. Gravity lance charged and ready. Similar reports came in from the other ships. The human fleet moved faster than any Confederation vessel, using drive systems that humans had redesigned from alien models. Ryan addressed his crew. For 3 years, we've hidden our true capabilities. Today, we show the galaxy what humans can really do. The fleet reached the battle zone to find chaos. Krell ships tore through the Confederation's defensive line. The aliens fought bravely but were overwhelmed by the Krell's superior numbers. Target the Krell command ship, Ryan ordered. All vessels, execute pattern Omega. The human ships moved in perfect coordination, something the Confederation had never mastered. Their vessels always fought individually, while humans had centuries of experience in coordinated military actions. The Defender fired its gravity lance. A beam of concentrated gravitational force struck the Krell command ship, crushing part of its hull. Confederation observers watched in shock. This weapon shouldn't exist. Nicole worked with her team to analyze the Krell ships. Captain, they're using a distributed shield network. Each ship reinforces the others around it. Ryan smiled. Just like ants supporting each other. Lieutenant Chen, send this data to all Confederation ships. Tell them to focus fire on these junction points. He highlighted several spots on the tactical display. For the first time, the Confederation ships began to fight effectively against the Krell. Following human tactics, they targeted weak points in the enemy formation. On a nearby Confederation cruiser, a Taurian commander watched in amazement. The humans fight like nothing I've ever seen, he told his second-in-command. They adapt instantly to new threats. They're using tactics we never considered, the second-in-command replied. And their endurance is remarkable. It was true. While Confederation crews rotated every 6 hours due to mental fatigue, the human crews stayed at their posts for 20 hours straight, maintaining peak performance through the crisis. In one desperate moment, a Krell ship targeted a Confederation vessel carrying thousands of civilian refugees. 3 human ships moved to intercept without hesitation, taking damage meant for the alien vessel. The battle raged for 2 days. The human fleet took heavy losses, but fought with a determination that shocked both the Krell and the Confederation. When it was over, the Krell fleet was in retreat, and the combined human Confederation force had won. On the Defender's bridge, Ryan received messages from other fronts. Humans fighting alongside Confederation forces had turned the tide everywhere. Kate's Marines had held a critical space station. Steve had modified Confederation ships to perform beyond their designed limits. Alex had developed a way to predict Krell tactics. Admiral Hayes contacted Ryan from Earth. Well done, Captain. The Confederation has seen what we can do now. There's no going back. Ryan looked at his exhausted but proud crew. Maybe that's for the best, sir. No more secrets. No more holding back. 2 weeks after the battle, the Confederation High Council met again. This time, the chamber was different. An 8th platform had been added to the 7 that had always been there. Ambassador Beth Rivers stood on this new platform. She had replaced Daniel Clark, who was recovering from injuries he received helping evacuate a Confederation station during the Krell attacks. Below, in the center of the chamber, representatives from every Confederation world gathered. The Krell invasion had been defeated, but at great cost. Many ships were destroyed. Several colonies had been damaged. The Confederation had never faced such a threat before. Zextora spoke first. We have called this special session to address the human question. The Vexeri turned to look at Beth. Your species has proven surprising. Beth nodded but said nothing. She knew this moment would decide humanity's future in the galaxy. You hid your true abilities from us, said the Taurian representative. You built ships in secret. You developed weapons we thought impossible. You deceived us. And then we saved you, Beth said quietly. The chamber fell silent. We did not deceive you out of malice, Beth continued. We acted out of caution. Humans have a long history of fearing what we don't understand. We assumed other species might feel the same. She pressed a button, and images appeared in the air. They showed Earth's history, wars, destruction, but also healing and growth. For thousands of years, humans fought each other. But we learned from our mistakes. We grew. When we met you, we feared that showing our full capabilities might make you see us as a threat. Were we wrong to be concerned? Asked the crystal being. Your weapons alone would never be used against peaceful species, Beth said firmly. The same technology that powers our gravity lances is being used right now to help rebuild your damaged worlds. It was true. Across Confederation space, human ships and crews were helping with rescue and reconstruction. Steve Donovan was leading a team upgrading Confederation stations. Alex Summers was sharing medical techniques that were saving thousands of lives. Kate Rodriguez and her Marines were helping train a new combined security force. The Krell believe that strength is all that matters, Beth said. We wanted to show you that humans believe differently. Our strength comes with responsibility. The council members looked at each other. Finally, Zex Torres spoke again. The Confederation has existed for 10,000 years. In all that time, we have never encountered a species like humans. You are contradictions, capable of great destruction, yet willing to sacrifice for others. Advanced enough to defeat the Krell, yet humble enough to learn from species you could easily overpower. We are human, Beth said simply. That's who we are. The Taurian representative stood. I propose that Earth be granted full membership in the Confederation, not as a protectorate, but as equals. Their platform in this chamber should be permanent. One by one, the other representatives agreed. When the vote was complete, Zextor approached Beth's platform. There are still many questions about humans we do not understand, the Vexeri said. Why did your people choose restraint when most species would choose dominance? How do you maintain unity despite your differences? What drives you to help others even at risk to yourselves? Beth smiled. Perhaps in time, we'll help each other understand these things. That's what friends do. On the main Confederation station, Captain Ryan Adams met with a Vexeri commander. They were planning a joint expedition to explore beyond known space. I still don't understand why your people held back, the Vexeri said. With your abilities, you could have demanded anything from the Confederation. Ryan looked out at the stars. That's not who we are. Humans learned long ago that true strength isn't about what you can take. It's about what you can give. The Vexeri was quiet for a moment. Perhaps we all have been holding back in our own ways, he said finally. Perhaps humans can teach us to be more than we are. And perhaps we can learn from you as well, Ryan replied. That's what makes the universe interesting. Together, they looked out at the endless stars, where new adventures waited for all species, now working together as true equals.